Are you back for more? You are a glutton for punishment. So am I. I'm not making music today. I figured I'd make some noise using my favorite tool, Guitarix. And the software does so much, but I think some of you want to know, before we go into this, I think some of you want to know about my little setup I have here. Mind you, I'm thrifty, not cheap, and I always look for, cost-effective solutions. My guitar, believe it or not, is an unbranded. Well, actually, Guitarix sells these. This is a Burning Flame guitar, and this is something. This is what I got for Christmas, of all things. And Ma threw me some money for Christmas, and so I went on YouTube to, you know, see what people were saying about this particular instrument. So shout out to CS Guitars and Guitar Max, who demonstrated this instrument. This is the Burning Flame, and Guitarix sells these, but when I purchased this, it came unbranded. Now, obviously, this isn't how the instrument arrived to me. I actually bought this thing and completely upgraded it. Now, obviously, this isn't. I saw the shape of the guitar and everything, and that influenced my purchase decision for getting it. I saw that, and I was like, that is me. So I had to have this. Now, as a teenager, I used to rip apart all of my guitars, rewire them, and do all kinds of stuff with them. So I knew going into this, when I got the guitar, that the first thing I was going to do was rip off all the hardware and replace it with better stuff, because I just wanted it. And interestingly, when I got the guitar, it was cheap enough that I was able to, really have a look at it, set it all up and everything. This thing, after I completely upgraded it and give it a proper setup, this thing plays like a guitar at 100 times, 10, well, maybe not 100 times the price, but at 10 times the price. So that is good indeed. The action is really low on this thing, and it plays like a dream. It sounds great too. So obviously what I did was I replaced all of the pickups on the guitar itself here. That's this area here, and these are the new ones. They're all Alnico 5 pickups, and the one in the center is a humbucker, a dual humbucker, but in the size of a single coil, so that I didn't have to go and do any extra routing on the body. But when I decided to replace the bridge, this is a genuine Floyd Rose special. I had to actually hand carve and route out the front of the body to be able to get this to fit perfectly. Also replaced the nut here with a locking nut. And then, of course, I also have hip shot locking tuners on this as well for quicker string changes and that sort of thing. I also went as far as even shielding all of the cavities inside. So using the Faraday cage method, where I use industrial grade shielding paint, and I used copper tape inside the covers, so that I could avoid any RF interference signaling inside the electronics cavity inside here. So a lot of work went into this. All in all, I think roughly altogether I spent close to $500 on the guitar itself and all of its upgrades. Well worth it. This instrument is amazing now, and it does it's perfect for my needs. So yeah, the old tuners on this, the tuners on this one went on my little mini guitar, and I use this little thing just for muscle memory when I'm, practicing new scales or new licks and tricks. It's obviously it's a smaller scale fretboard, so they say you tend to remember things better and musically when you're repeating the same tasks, but using a different scale fretboard, that sort of thing. So good stuff there. Inside my guitar case here, I talked a little bit about the Valaton GP100. That's what I was using it in yesterday's video. I also have a little speaker here. And so inside my guitar case, it's basically a one-man band in a guitar case. I don't have to lug around anything heavy. Although part of my setup is also the new X Mighty 20 BT amplifier, which I'll be covering in a later episode along with the Android application. So, all in all, a nice little humble setup for the show. So, if any of you guys are ever interested in picking up a guitar or getting something new, and you're not sure if you're going to stick with it, I always suggest get a beginner's guitar, something like this, because later on down the line, if you find you really love the guitar, you can upgrade it, or just buy a new instrument that is already set up for you. There's so many great channels on YouTube that teach you everything you need to know about setting up the guitar. I already knew how to do this myself. I could probably even, do a series on setting up the guitar myself, how I did it. But pretty much I'd be repeating the same stuff that everybody else does on their YouTube channels. So if you ever want to know, YouTube is your friend. There's a lot of good stuff on there to teach you how to set up a guitar, get the best possible sound, and that sort of thing. All right, so now that I've covered that, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, and that, of course, is Guitarix. And I've got to say, the free and open source community has really gone above and beyond with this software. This has all of the power of your modern digital effects racks that you can go out and purchase nowadays, all in a free package. With this software, you can literally turn your computer into a guitar effects processor for the price of zero. That's right. You'd be able to hook your computer, you could just, if you've got a powerful enough laptop or a small little desktop computer, just hook it up to a PA system and you can just crank with the best of them. I will say though that this software is can be a little bit daunting at first if you're new to this. If you already know how to set up an effects stack as a guitarist, this should be fairly familiar to you. You would want to go in the order of your normal setup. Like for instance, in this particular guitar sound. Now, I didn't set any of these up, admittedly. I actually downloaded some effects already preset, and then I just went and changed some of them. But this is how you would set up a regular effects board, and this is the same type of setup that I already have with the Valatin that I had on display yesterday. You could just easily hit the online button here, and it'll ask you if you want to go online. You say yes, and then this list comes up, and you can literally find just about any sound that you're looking for. So if you're into blues, here's one, funky blues rock. Let's try it and see what it sounds like. Now, I've been through most of these, okay, and of course this one isn't labeled exactly what it said it was, which is weird. But let's see what we got here with this effect. I wasn't expecting something that heavy. And you can see that it's got several different cabinet styles, so we can change the sound. That one's a little bit... that one's got a little bit of bass in it. Not sure if I'm really feeling that one. Let's, so I can click organize and then click the little trash can to get rid of that bank. And then go back to online here. Let's pick out another one. Nuclear. Okay, let's see what that does. see what nuclear clean sounds like. Well, geez, I can barely hear it. But the thing is, you can go through, you find something that has a bass sound, and you can tweak it the way you like, or you can just go through from scratch. Let's go into organize here, and let's take this out here. Not sure that I really care for that one, but at any rate, there are tons of effects that you can go through. But if that isn't to your liking, well, you can hit the pool here, and you can pretty much create any stack that you want. You can just drag and drop out, get rid of things that you don't want. And you can just start from scratch making your own little stack and, build whatever. To be honest, I don't have the patience to do that because I could literally spend all day, making a new sound. So I actually went through the entire online route and picked all of my favorite sounds and found some pretty neat ones. So. Now, this has a lot of impulse responses or cabinet sounds that come included with this. But let's say you went on soundwoofer.com/library/index, and you decided to go to the Soundwoofer Impulse Response Library. They've got tons of them. These are all awesome. And so I went and I downloaded a ton of these. Let's sample some of these with my favorite guitar preset to see what kind of sounds we can get. I'll minimize this here. And let's take a look. So I've got Distortion 2 here. Alright, and in order to load these, I have to use the convolver. So there's a little setup button right here that I press. Alright, and right now it's using a Great Hall sound, which I believe is for, well, I don't know, let's increase the wet, which gives it a little bit more of an effect here. Yeah. It's actually using a reverb sound because you can hear how much more reverb it put in there. That's what that Great Hall is. But let's say instead I don't want the reverb and I want to replace it. So let's go ahead and let's change that. I'll go into File here. I'll go into my Downloads folder. And I loaded all of these impulse responses into my Valaton GP100. But that doesn't mean I can't use them here, so why don't I go ahead and decide to load the Fender Twin Reverb file. And all of these samples that I just showed you on the website came from there. So we can actually audition some of these sounds to see what they sound like. I'm going to increase the wet on this, and I don't even have to press OK. Hey, that kind of has a sound like an 80s band that I know. I'm sure that sounds a little bit familiar, but I don't want any copyright strikes on my channel, so I'm not going to play any cover tunes. Alright, but at any rate, you can get the idea here. So you can change the sound of the cabinet just by loading some of these impulse responses in here. So maybe instead of a Fender Twin Reverb, maybe I want to go with a 1960s Marshall Stack sound, and So you can get that nice early 70s metal sound just by changing some of the impulse responses. So, I mean, that is worth the price of admission right there. But that, I mean, it's got everything that you could possibly want here. You've got different EQs. So we've already got the convolver set, but maybe want to change this a little bit. Go in here, and now the guitar is a mid-rangey instrument, so you don't want to really take out all the mid-range. But one of the things I used to love to do was because I wanted more of a treble sound back in the day. Now, if I don't save these, if I just go and into a different effect and then back, it all reverts back. So now the convolver here, if I expand this, you're going to see it's back to the Great Hall. It didn't save. So you got to save these. So it's great if you're experimenting around and you're not sure, you can always revert back. You don't have to save it. Just switch effects and then go back and it'll just revert to its original state. But let's say we open up that convolver again. If I wanted to, let's go back in here and reload that. And I believe we were using Marshall. And we'll give it more of a wet. Okay. Then if I wanted to, I can go in to the preset and then save the changes if I wanted to. Actually, I'm not going to, because the setup I have for this particular bank, I want to leave that the way it is. But at any rate, you have that option if you wanted to. Okay. Also, if I wanted to, I could change which bank I wanted to from here as well. All right. So the possibilities are endless with the software. In the pool section, you can just pretty much drag out the effect that you want, program it to your liking, and I mean, I could probably make a whole mini-series on this software, and that's not something I'm going to do, because at the end of the day, when I compare the two, even though I use Guitarix every day for playing and practicing, I still love the sound of this equally, if not better, and this is easier for me to use. So, I mean, it's always good to have extra options available to you. Moreover, this does effects processing as well, not in stereo, but I mean, if I'm doing a small little mini concert or something for some friends, I can bring the amplifier along and get some really neat sounds, and I've got a bunch of sounds already programmed into it for mono playing, and it's effective. It's loud enough that I can play with a drummer if I wanted to. So, I mean, I have a few different options available, but I'm a crappy musician anyway. Nobody wants to play with me. Even my drum machine says no. So, what can I say? So, I've tried Rack as well. That one has some great sounds as well, but I have to lean more towards Guitarix here, because it's really well thought out, well put together software, and it's an awful lot of fun to play with. So definitely worth the price of admission, to say the least. Alright, that's all I've got for now. Just a friendly reminder that a little bit of love goes a long way. So please take a portion of your time and be excellent with somebody today. Until next time, peace out, my friends.